Hi, True Crime Grapevine fans. Hopefully, everybody can hear and this is recording all right because I will just tell you I'm a little under the weather. Didn't put on any makeup. Um, I do have on my Savannah shirt to theme with the big case that was talked about today. Today is Wednesday, or at least it is for me right now. At other places in the world, I believe it's already Thursday. But today is Wednesday, January 25th, 2023. We are, I always, if you're new, hi, I'm Patty Lee. I watch all the true crime so you don't have to. There is so much crime and not enough time that I used to upload once a week with a video that was recorded and edited. Now I've had to do that really quickly once a week. I record that on Saturday or Sunday, and then it's uploaded Sunday or Monday. But I've had to go live every night because there is so much crime. So, anyways, um, I theme my streams with a drink. Usually, it's a nightcap drink. But tonight's nightcap due to some intestinal distress, and it's not the flu because the flu is respiratory, but there is some like throw up virus and other issues in my house. So we're drinking Canada Dry Gingerale. Ginger really does. Ginger ale has ginger in it, and it does help your stomach. So that is what we're drinking tonight. Let me just tell you what went on. We are going to be talking about, I'll give you a little rundown. There was a decision about including another person in the Gabby Petito case. Hashtag if you know, you know. Shout out to one lawyer from Ipswich, New York. Keeping with the Florida theme, Aiden Fucci in the Tristan Bailey case, there was a decision about how his jury will be made up, the number of people. There is the big case that everybody's talking about today was the Murdaugh trial because it they finished the jury selection today, and I watched Emily Baker's stream. Highly recommend. I'll tell you why when we talk about it, but very informative stream with her commentary. She's a lawyer. She's great. And then I also watched one of my other great main squeeze sources on the grapevine is Lori Hellis over at her podcast and YouTube channel is called Children of Darkness and Light. She is writing a book about the Lori Vallow Chad Daybell case. And she also does like she's a lawyer and she's been on the prosecution and the look at me, I don't even want to say it, the defense side. And so she has a really good grasp of the law, especially out in Idaho and Arizona is where she practiced it out west. But anyways, she did have also information to say something about the Kohlberger case that we talked about yesterday and about the Daybell. There's a little decision in the Daybell, or excuse me, there is something she discussed about the families wanting access to the trial in the Daybell case. But she discussed the Murdaugh case as well. And lastly, but not leastly, if you're following along with the Larry Miliete trial, he was in a preliminary trial to see if his case would be bound over. There was a decision about that. He is accused of unaliving his wife, May, is what her family calls her. Maya is what we will be referring to her mostly. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, number one, the quick things are in the Gabby Petito's family, the civil case with her dad, Joe Petito, and her mother, Nicole Schmidt. They have been suing the Laundries for emotional distress, intentional emotional distress, And they had asked recently to add Steve Bertolino, the erstwhile lawyer that was at the time of the Gabby Petito when she was missing, and we just found out that Brian had returned to Florida. There was this spokesperson lawyer. The laundry said absolutely nothing, basically, talk to my lawyer. And then Steve Bertolino was a lawyer that they knew from working on, they had a lot of properties, and he was their real estate. It seemed as if their real estate attorney in New York. He is not licensed to practice in Florida, and he didn't seem to be a criminal lawyer, um, as far as we knew. But he was like the spokesperson slash lawyer representing the laundries in Brian being missing and a suspect in Gabby's unaliving, suspected. He made a lot of statements on their behalf. One of the statements specifically was that the laundries hoped that Gabby would be reunited with her family soon. Now, by that time, it is alleged that the Laundry family knew 100% that Gabby was not going to be reunited, and so that statement was is one that is injurious to, like, it gave them hope when the Laundries knew there was no hope. And they didn't have to say anything. In fact, they had a lawyer, so they didn't have to say anything. So just saying that and putting out that statement, and then Bertolino now is, I think they are wanting to hold him also responsible for that statement he made, saying that he was aware. And I, anyway, so they wanted him added to the case today or yesterday, I believe it was actually, but yes, he's being added to the case. And it's good he's being I mean, personally, this is just my opinion. I don't like the guy. He was talking to all the media. I don't know how he was representing them because he had been representing Brian when Brian was supposedly still alive. So that's a conflict of interest. I- And he wasn't, and he's not even allowed to practice in Florida. So how was he even? I get family spokesperson, but he wasn't their lawyer. I mean, he can't practice law in Florida. So I don't know. He's always sticking his nose. He's always got something to say, and he acts like he's protecting something of himself. And now he's in it. He wanted to be in it. You're in it. So that was very interesting. Added to the lawsuit. So I personally think that's a good thing. That's just my opinion. He is innocent until, well, this isn't innocent until proven guilty. This is a civil case. So he will be held for damages or he will not be held for damages. And he will have to be deposed. And that is what the laundries don't want to do. Nobody wants to be deposed. Deposed is when you have to answer questions from the other lawyer and it is taped and you're under oath. It can be hairy. So it's very interesting. Second case. Adieu. It's moving right along. Before I have to get up and run to the bathroom. Aiden Fucci was a 14-year-old at the time of the crime of the unaliving stabbing death of Tristan Bailey, a classmate of his. He is now 16. This is about 3 years ago, or between 2 and 3. When the crime occurred, they were talking about his jury. Could he have a 6-person jury? Of course, the defense wouldn't want that because, you only need one person to say not guilty and it hangs the jury and you're not convicted. So having 6, that's half the people that you have to convince. But the judge said, so they're not going for the death penalty. He's still considered a juvenile and he was at the time, and he still is, but regardless of, I'm a devout, if you don't know, I'm just going to throw this out there. My background is in educational psychology. I study human development. And I will tell you, brain wise, little kids don't know what they're doing. And even adolescents have a hard time understanding all their actions. Now, we don't know. This young man, obviously very troubled and should be, um, I don't know. But I agree that you should not charge them as adults because they're not adults. And I don't know, you got to be looking also at who raised them. I don't know, there's lots of developmental issues, I would say. But the crime was horrific. Um and there will only be 6 people. So that's the upshot of that. Sorry, I give a lot of opinion. Maybe I should just tell you what happened. Hey, they wanted 6 people jury, a 6-person jury. Did you even know that was possible? Apparently it is. And that's what the judge said is going to happen. So 6-person jury in the Aiden Fucci, Tristan Bailey case. So, and it's really sad. Her poor family. And now they just, Okay. Miglietti case. Larry Miglietti had a 9-day preliminary hearing, which is very long. Preliminary hearings can be 1 or 2 days. I think for a serious crime, 3 or 4. This took 9 days, very long. It is a largely circumstantial case, but you have a bunch of circumstances though, and pretty soon they start lining up, and it all makes it's like there is no other reason except this person did this. The judge found that even though, yes, circumstantial, that is accurate. There is enough evidence that he is the person, even though there's no body, that she is likely unalived and that he is likely the person that did it, and he will be going to trial on that case. So personally, I mean, this is just my opinion. Very good decision there. So we've had a lot of good decisions today. Okay, now we're up to the big case, the Murdaugh case. That's why I'm wearing my sleeping little and it snowed here today, so I've got my Savannah shirt on because Savannah is close to where the crime occurred. In fact, the hospital that Murdaugh got taken to when he had his someone shot at him. No way he had somebody shoot at him to fake suicide. That he was taken to Savannah by air, even though there wasn't, I don't know, that was all crazy too. Okay, so what happened in the Murdaugh case today? Well, it was day 3 of jury selection, and we found out something new live, which is in South Cackalack, when you are seating a jury, they don't have a long voir dire. They don't have a long, or as Emily D. Baker is calling it, seatum or yeatum, which I kind of like. So voir dire or voir dire is either French or Latin for to speak the truth. It's the time when both attorneys for the defense and state get to say lots of questions, like if you learned this, would you be able to say no? If all these suppositions. Well, what we found out is in South Carolina, number one, there's a huge questionnaire. Like somebody said, if this is accurate, a 300-page questionnaire that's sent out to all the jurors. So the attorneys have a good idea who's who. So that's like advanced voir dire is basically what that is, even though it was 900 people. But as they whittled it down, they knew going into today that it would be 122 people. It was 123, but somebody had a medical emergency. So 122, that is easier for a team to go through and sort of get ready. So they pulled those questionnaires, and I'm sure they've had teams going through since they've sent out the questionnaires and got them back. So they've had these, and I'm sure they've marked some. There's some questions that each side is the important question. So I guess that's how they did this, because they said there's going to be opening statements today, and they started with 122 jurors. And Emily D. Baker was like, how are they going to question that many people? Well, what they did was the judge, how did he do this? he immediately was of the qualified people, he immediately got it down to 80. And of those 80, that happened in the morning, like early. Then these people, it was very interesting. South Carolina, if you remember when Alec pled guilty, he said something like, I didn't do it. He didn't just say, I'm not guilty. When he pled, he said something like, pled to his God and country and something. It was like very old fashioned language. Apparently, in South Cackalack, that is the deal. So his language that they used, the process was they started with these 80 people left over. The jurors were asked to bring everything with them that they had to come and stand up in front of the court, face both, stand like between, look at the attorneys, and the clerk would read the juror's number, and then the process was the prosecution would decide to present the juror as an option to the defense, or they would not present. And the language was, oh, I wrote it down because it was, oh, I'm sorry. So I think the clerk asked, what say, I have to look. Sorry, you guys. Yeah, like actually use the word ye. What say ye for the state? And then Creighton Waters would answer, they would like look through their papers about that number, and they would say, please present this juror. Would they say, please present this juror? Or they would say, please excuse this juror. And then after, if they said, please present this juror, the clerk would go, what say ye for the defendant? Asking Dick Harpootlian. And he either said, please swear the juror, please swear this juror, or swear the juror, please. Or he would say, please excuse this juror. So they spoke in this very old-fashioned phrase over and over again about what say ye? And then the lawyer would answer. And so they didn't have to question all the 80 people left over. They basically, I think they randomly drew their numbers. They walked up there. They stood there like they were on display. Do you like me? Do you not like me? And if the prosecution said, yeah, present them. Then the jury would go like, do I like your presentation or do I not? Kind of like a dessert menu. Isn't that interesting? So it wasn't very long before, yeah, we had a jury. It took like, I don't know, not even half an hour maybe to get through. So the makeup is 12 jurors were seated, 8 women, 4 males. 10 are Caucasian, 2 are African American. And they had 6 alternates. So the alternates know who they are, and they stay the alternates. 2 women, 4 males. This is an even split between racial mixes of 3 Caucasian or white and 3 African American Black. The jurors, okay, 10 Caucasian, 2 African Americans. They are in their 30s to 60s, it looks like. And the ages of the alternates are 20s to 40s, so a little bit younger. The decisions, some of the decisions made ahead of time is the ballistics are going to be allowed to be introduced. The blood splatter is not going to be mentioned for right now. In the financial issues, and I'm saying issues because this is very interesting. Murdaugh has not gone on trial. He's only been indicted. So they can't say he's done these crimes, even though, we know Russell Laffitte, his co-conspirator, has been accused and whatever. It is interesting. So they say the motive is that he was having financial issues, right? And it was coming out, and they will probably they're going to bring it up and see. The judge said he'll deal with that when he deals with that. So that's what we know. And tomorrow, it's all going to start. And I don't know about you, but I can't wait. Let's see. Law and Crime has the feed for it. And I watch Emily D. Baker because she has a way of explaining the legalities, and she does commentary. Commentary means she talks over the court a little bit and interjects a lot because legally that's what you do. Not that anybody cares, but I mean, people do care. You will see her put up when people are writing in her chat about, please don't talk. Why are you talking? I can't hear. And she has to say, this is commentary. The only people who are not doing commentary are like Law and Crime, who's got the pool feed, meaning they were the media corporation that was allowed to, like, they're running the camera, but they don't own it. That feed will be distributed to any and all. They can't copyright it. So if you listen to a YouTuber who live streams, commentary means they're going to interrupt and talk over what's going on in court, because that's what commentary, that's how they get around copyright. I mean, that's just the rules of YouTube. Speaking of YouTube, hey, it would be great if you catch this on replay or whenever, if you could like it, and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to my channel. I would love to have anybody in the chat. I am still figuring out when to go live. I will be honest with you guys. It's probably going to be sometime at night between maybe 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and it could be as late as 11:30. I will jump on when I can. There's lots of crime. There's not enough time. And then there's life that interrupts, like tonight when I got sick a little bit, and my child is very sick still. So, raise your whatever you're drinking. Maybe it's ginger ale. I will catch up with you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, everything worked with the recording tonight. And stay safe, be good, and bye.